Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for being back with me this evening as we get set up. Only a few days away from training camp now. Thursday is the magical day. Rosters are being revealed across the NHL as we speak. It's a good time to be a hockey fan. Prospects tourney is done and we are ready to rock and roll for this 23-24 training camp that we are all so very excited for. Obviously, we've got goaltending to talk about in today's video. You saw it in the thumbnail. We got a minor trade to talk about across the NHL. Minor to us, obviously more major to Canucks and Habs fans, but I want to talk about it because you might have seen some rumors crop up with Casey DeSmith and the Edmonton Oilers. And then secondarily to that, right, the NHL Training Camp rosters, that's something we just got to discuss here a little bit because we got a little intrigue ourselves. Either way, right off the bat, starting with the tandem, you see I've got Jack Campbell in here. I've got Ollie Rodrigue in here, and you've got Stuart Skinner. Honorable mention out to Calvin Pickard. But as it currently stands, friends, I believe the Oilers will at some point this season deploy three goaltenders, that being Stuart Skinner, Jack Campbell, and Olivier Rodrigue. And the way I see it shaping up is you'll obviously and understandably use Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner throughout as much of the season as possible. Barring injury, you probably see Calvin Pickard come up in the first 41 games if there's an injury. But post 41 games on the trajectory that Ollie Rodrigue is on obviously the pace he's on to become an NHL caliber goaltender within the next year and a half, you are likely to see him do at least a Stuart Skinner tour of duty as Skinner did in that shortened season, starting in that 8-5 win over top of the Ottawa Senators way back when. So at some point I expect to see Ollie Rodrigue this year. In the first 41 games, I'd expect to see Calvin Pickard up if there needs to be a move made to get a goaltender up due to injury. In the back half 41, I would expect it to be Ollie Rodrigue because, yes, the Condors will be in a little bit more of a playoff chase, hopefully, right? We have prospects down there that want to go play as much hockey as possible, develop, get lessons in harder games, fair. And that's where you'd want to keep your veteran goaltender around. In terms of the first 41, you want to kind of get Ollie Rodrigue as much action, get as much of a scouting report on him as possible, and know what you have in case you need him later in the year. That's just how I'd play it. And obviously, too, I'm not talking about starting Ollie Rodrigue 20 games in the back half. That's not the plan here. It's just in case you need him to have him. And if you get down to game 81, 82, you got call-ups left, and you feel like giving him a start as you did with Stuart Skinner way back when, yeah, of course you could possibly go out there and give Ollie Rodrigue game 81 or 82. So stay tuned for that. But that's kind of where I'm seeing this tandem go this year for the Oilers in Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner. That we make mention of because of the minor trade for us, not for the Canucks and Habs. I will mention that. I'm not trying to downplay this move today. This is our first trade of training camp, and training camp hasn't even started. Mr. Casey DeSmith headed to the Vancouver Canucks, heavily rumored to have been being moved by the Canadiens as soon as he got to Montreal alongside Jeff Petrie. Obviously, Montreal receives Tanner Pearson and a 2025 third-round pick, so it doesn't really matter to us what Montreal receives there. Yeah, Tanner Pearson is nice for our goalies not to have to face, but of course Tanner Pearson's not this big, huge threat that maybe once upon a time he was. More of, from what I'm reading, a salary dump for the Vancouver Canucks. But you also open up this one more time and you see training camp rosters being announced. Just for the fun of it, friends, I will give you an idea. I think I've seen the Rangers camp roster being announced. I think I've seen the Minnesota Wild's camp roster being announced. I think as well we've seen some other teams' camp rosters be announced. I think it might have been Detroit's camp roster actually that was announced as well. So that's where we're sitting going into the season. Obviously, if the Edmonton Oilers do announce their training camp roster this evening, I will have full details for you as soon as they become available. However, for now, friends, enjoy dinner time. Enjoy your evening activities. If you've got bowling lined up, whatever the heck you got lined up, go out there and enjoy darts maybe. I don't know. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. I'm Tyson Dolynny TV up on out of here.